Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David and I was just going to be doing my wrap-up video for this month and also showing you some of the books I was hoping and anticipating to get for Christmas during this year. But I thought instead of doing that, I would also show you everything that I got for Christmas. But before I get to all that, please do not forget to subscribe, ring that bell and give this video a thumbs up. So as I said, this video is just going to be split up into two parts. The first part is me showing you guys about what I've received for gifts this year. And the second part is just going to be my wrap up video. So I got some perfume for my nan. This is Savage or whatever. Some perfume. I've smelled it and it smells really good. So yeah, I've already got some perfume in the bathroom, but when that one's finished I will be using this one or probably using both of them. I got some chocolates from my brother. This is Quality Streets. I'm not sure if you can get Quality Street over seas, but this is kind of like a standard brand over here and it has all the varieties on the sides. So yeah, I mean, I'll look forward to having these. For my dad, he got me a little tube of mini Rolos, which are like chocolates with biscuit and caramel in them as well. So when I saw this I thought, okay, great, some more chocolate. But when I opened it up, he actually had some money in it as well, so £60 in it, so that'd be really cool. Yeah, it's always good to have some money and it's always good to have surprises like that. I did have a book, but I'll save that till last. From my brother I got a copy of Shang-Chi, the Marvel movie, on Blu-ray. I didn't really see this in the cinemas, but it intrigued me, so I thought I would give it a try. And going over to DC now, I asked my brother to get me the 7th season of The Flash. I would have liked it if he got it on Blu-ray, as I've got all the others on Blu-ray, but never mind. But yeah, I haven't watched season 6, but I will eventually, and then I've always got this one, so when I finish season 6, I can go on to season 7. But yeah, I really like The Flash. It's really, really cool, and yeah, I'll look forward to watching both of these. And also Shang-Chi, I really look forward to watching that because I didn't watch the movie either to I saw clips of it, but I didn't watch the whole thing. And also my brother got me some PJs, Marvel themes, and he's got the top and the trousers in here as well, and he also left the price on it as well, which is really, really funny. But yeah, pajamas, they're really, really cool, they're really useful, especially when I've got to put some, you know, in the wash and I've got to wear some because the weather over here isn't great. So yeah, that's really useful. And lastly, I also got a box of chocolates from my brother, which is like standard British candy there, or sweets as we call them. So yeah. And lastly, the book that I got, this was one that I asked my brother to get, which I wrote a list for him and this one was on it. And that is Ghost Story by Peter Straub. And I don't know much about this. I've read the back of it numerous times. This is one I keep on going into bookshops and I pick up. I read the back of it and I do not know. I put it back. I have no idea if it's because ghost stories are kind of more misses than hits with me. But I did actually read The Talisman, which was a collaboration between Peter and Stephen King. So that one wasn't the best, but it was fine. So yeah, I'll look forward to reading this one really soon. Not sure if it will be next month, but if it is next month, then I will be reading this one either in February or March. But I will definitely be reading this one as soon as I can. But if you've read Ghost Story, please let me know down below your opinions on it. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, You can comment down below about the storyline and about the characters, but please try to steer away from spoilers if you can. So, what did I manage to read in December? To be quite frank, guys, I kind of had a very mixed bag when it comes to my reading this month. The first half of the month I had off because I had a paid time off at work, so I had to use it. And the second half, from the 15th up until now, it's been extremely busy at work because of Spider-Man has come out, and I've only got like one day off, and pretty much all the days I'm working I don't have hardly any time to myself, so being able to read is very limited. I get most of my reading done going to and from work on the train. But what I did manage to read, I managed to read two things, which was of course A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is the Christmas collection, which I was hoping to read all of these stories by Dickens, but I didn't manage to get to it. But never mind. I will hold on to this and I will read it next year. But obviously everyone knows what A Christmas Carol is all about a man called Scrooge who is incredibly tight with his money, and he gets reminded about the true nature of Christmas and what it means and what it should represent, and it changes his whole perspective not just on Christmas but about life in general. It's one that I couldn't see myself ever missing for Christmas, as it embodies what the Christmas spirit and what Christmas time should always be about. And I do actually have 3 different copies of A Christmas Carol. The first one I got was the paperback version. I mean, I've read this about 4 or 5 times now, but this is my usual standard paperback that I have. And yeah, that's just like the words, there's no illustrations in it. And I also got, I think this is last year that I got this. This is probably my most really nice edition of A Christmas Carol. This is a reproduction of the original book, how it originally came out, and it has gold edges all around it, and it's really cool, really nice. And this is just on A Christmas Carol. This doesn't include any of the other Christmas stories by Dickens, and it does actually have illustrations in it. Not sure if it has any coloured versions of, yeah, it does. It has some coloured pictures in it. To be quite honest, guys, I will probably never physically read this copy. This is probably just going to be a collector's edition, but really happy that I picked this book up. But the copy that I read this year was in this other book. This is the collection of all the Christmas stories by Dickens. This one I picked up really cheap, second hand, and it doesn't have any illustrations in this book, but never mind. I didn't actually do a video on A Christmas Carol as I was tempted, guys. I really was tempted, but I thought, well, what can I bring to it? I did do a video on it last year, but I thought, what else needs to be said about this story? So I gave it a miss this year, but who knows? Maybe I will do a video on it next year. When it comes to my rating for this book, it differs. Sometimes I give it 4 stars and sometimes I give it 5. But this year in 2021, I'm going to give A Christmas Carol a 5 stars out of 5. And the last thing that I managed to finish so far this month is an anthology collection which is called Bitter Chills. I have just done a video on this, which was one of my most recent videos, and this is a wintry read, even though it says holiday edition on it, which is the expanded edition with some illustrations in it. I'll have a link down below in case you want to check out my whole video on it. This focuses mostly around stories that have got a wintry feel to them. Yes, some of them do have Christmas stories in them which are more heavily themed around this holiday time, but not all of them do. But to be honest, this is one I'm probably going to read when it's more wintry and chilly over here. And all the Christmas stories that I come across, I can always skip them ones. But this is a really good hidden gem, and if you can find this one, I would highly recommend that you pick this book up. You can find this one on Kindle in a paperback version and in a hard copy edition, so I would highly recommend that you pick this book up, especially if you are into horror and you want to read something a bit more unusual. But I give this book a 4 stars out of 5. All the individual stories, I would either rate them a 5 stars or a 4 stars. But as a whole, this is a 4 stars out of 5. And I also managed to read a bunch of Batman comics. I didn't pay anything for these. I got these in a comic book shop, as when I was leaving they said, oh, it's Batman Day, do you want some free comics? I thought, okay, I'm not going to say no to some free stuff. So they gave me these, and I was thinking, okay, these have been in my room for a while now, and I should read them and get them over and done with, and get them out of the way. I mean, they were fine. I'm not much of a superhero comic book reader. I do read graphic novels, but they're not really superhero related. So obviously I knew who Batman was, so I read them. The first one is Batman the World, and yeah, this is a good one. I didn't actually add these on Goodreads. I'm pretty sure you can actually get these on, or you can mark these off on Goodreads, but I don't know, it just felt a little bit weird marking a comic that's about like 20 pages as something that you've read on Goodreads, you know if that made sense. Then this is Batman Night Watch Volume 1, and also The World is Volume 1 as well. And these last ones are focusing around the same universe. So this is Batman with a twist on the Fortnite video games. I've never played Fortnite. I pretty much know what it's about. It's about like a open world where all these avatars go around and basically try to kill each other. So this is all the Batman characters in the universe of the video game Fortnite. So I've got Volumes 1, Volume 2. I didn't have Volume 3, so it skipped to Volume 4. So all these were like fine to me. I'm not going to read these ever again. I'm not going to actively go out and get some Batman graphic novels. But they were fine. They were just something I wanted to read to get them out of the way. I will be giving these to my local charity shop, and someone else can get some use out of them. So I don't know what I can possibly rate all these. I mean, they were fine, I suppose. I mean, if I had to give it a rating right now, I would probably rate all these, like a 3 stars out of 5. They were fine for what they were, but I'm never going to read these ever again. Now, the 2 things that I DNF'd this month were by the same author, which is J. Kristoff. The first one I DNF'd was Lifelike. This is book 1 in a trilogy, which is a science fiction story. The reason why I DNF'd this book is because I was reading another J. Kristoff book, which I'll get to in a minute. And it was taking up loads of my time, and I couldn't focus on probably 2 books by the same author. So I only temporarily put Lifelike to the sides for the moment, but I am intending to get back to it. Now, the book that I regrettably DNF'd. Now, this is the book that I was obsessed with. I was reading this every single day. I was thinking about it whenever I wasn't reading it. I was doing this as a buddy read with Kayla Lenzen, and this book is by J. Kristoff again, The Empire of the Vampire. Now, I just want to make it crystal clear, guys, that I do not hate this book. The reason why I DNF'd it is because when me and Kayla were reading it, we were both enjoying it. I was enjoying it, But there were some aspects of the storyline. There were like characters I missed, and there were plot points that I missed, whether they were big or small, and I got extremely frustrated whenever I missed them, because I wanted to read this book, and when I did my video for it, I wanted to give you guys the best possible review that I could give for that book to do it justice. So regrettably, I told Kayla when we were about halfway through, I think I was about 55% through the book, and I said to her that, look, I am going to DNF this book. Go on without me. I will be reading it or trying to reread it at the beginning of next year, which I'm still planning to do, whether it's in January, February or March, but I'm planning to get back to that book as soon as I can. So yeah, that's just something that I had to do really. It was really difficult for me to DNF that book, as I wanted to keep on going with it. As I know that when you're reading whatever book, you are gonna miss stuff out. That's why we reread books, just to like pick up on the stuff that we actually missed. But yeah, regrettably, it was just something I had to do. It put me in a bit of a reading slump for one day, but yeah, what can you do? I did actually buy a first edition, a US first edition from Barnes & Noble of the book. Sorry about the extreme glare, guys. I got this off of eBay, and the previous owner must have put all this protective plastic over it, so it doesn't really like my ring light, but I'll do my best. But yeah, this is a US edition, and this is a signed edition. Now that's the reason why I got it, and also it has all of these beautiful coloured illustrations in it as well, which is at the front and at the back. I want to be really delicate with this, and it also has a picture of Jay himself there, and it has some pictures there. It does have the map, and it does have all these illustrations that are in the book. And yes, I was reading in this on my Kindle, and my Kindle did actually have the pictures, if I can find one of them. I mean, that's one of the pictures there, or the illustrations. The illustrations for this book are absolutely gorgeous. They capture the essence of the book. And also, I do not know if anyone else caught this or managed to recognize this or pick this up, but I found that all the pictures in this book kind of had a very atmospheric theme. They looked like they were like a stained glass window in a church. I don't know if that was the intended design for it, but that's the theme that they actually give me. And as I said, this is a... Sorry, I've got to be really careful with this book. It's not dead, it's brand new, but yeah, there it is. It's signed. So yeah, but yeah, Empire of the Vampire. It was just one of them extremely unfortunate things that I had to do. But rest assured that I am going to get back to this book. I'm going to absorb myself in that world and hopefully give you guys the best reaction and review that I could give to this book, which I extremely enjoyed. Now, there are two things I'm currently reading right now. One is Pride Be Damned by Ellen Boyd. This is a author request video that I'm doing, and this book is outside of my norm of the things I usually gravitate towards when it comes to my reading. This is a YA book, and it's more of a thriller drama book. But I'm really enjoying this book. Every time I pick it up and read it, it seems to be of a palate cleanser, and it seems to be completely different than what I usually read, which is like horror, fantasy, sci-fi. But it's really good. It's much simpler to understand than some of the other big books I'm reading. But I'm not sure whether I am going to be able to complete that book this year. So if I don't finish it this year, which I'm going to do my damn best to finish up this month. But if I don't, then it will probably be bleeding slightly into January. But if it does, it's going to be something like 100 or 50 pages. But I am excited to do my review for it. I am going to be doing an honest review, and for my review for Pride Be Damned, I have got a clip from Ellen and that will be inserted into my video, so I'm extremely excited to give you guys my honest thoughts on the book. And the last thing that I'm reading right now, which I am really enjoying, is Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. And yes, I did pick this book up purely because of the author's tragic ends. So when I found out about Anne Rice's passing, it was about 2, maybe 3 a.m. over here at night, or in the morning rather, whatever you want to call it. And when I found out about it, I do not know, I was really sad about it, as I already had a couple of her books in my room at that time. I had the Servant of Bones, and I also had this copy of Interview with the Vampire, but I never managed to pick them up. And I knew that Anne was a big horror writer. That's what she wrote, is horror. And I'm thinking, okay, as a horror fan, how can I not have actually read anything by this author? So when I found out about her passing, I went onto eBay and I bought a bunch of her books. I mean, a bunch of them, guys. It was about maybe like 8 or 10 of them in separate lots. There were like 2 haul lots, and there was one that was a single one, which is right here, which is the Wolf Gift, which is about werewolves. But I thought, well, I would either read that one first, or I could read Servants of Bones. But I was thinking, well, why don't I just read the one thing, or the book that comes up the most when Anne Rice's name is brought up, and that is Interview with the Vampire. This is a very different vampire book. It isn't overly gory all the time, senseless blood and senseless gore and senseless violence for violence sake. This focuses around a vampire with a soul, with a conscience, with a mind outside of kill, 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 and always wanting to drink blood. Yes, he does always think about drinking blood all the time, and that's something that he kind of struggles to exist with. But this is about a unique individual who happens to be turned into a vampire, and it is narrated or told from his perspective as he's telling it to a boy, which at this point doesn't have a name, whose sole purpose is to interview people, and he happens to be interviewing this vampire. And at the start, the vampire says, look, don't be afraid of me. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to do you any harm. I just want to tell you what my life is all about. And it's really, really good. I'm up to page 80 right now. This is a 300-page book. And like Pride Be Damned, I am going to be doing my damn best to finish this book up this month. And also, like Pride Be Damned, if I do not manage to do that, this one might be bleeding slightly in January. And if it does, it'll be the same thing as Pride, and it will be either 50 pages or 100 pages, but not much. But I'm going to be doing my best to finish this book up this month. And I am going to be continuing with Anne's work. I am going to be going on to the next book in this Vampire Chronicles series, which is the Vampire Lestat. And it's kind of weird that he seems to be like the main focus and the main character throughout most of the Vampire Chronicles books, because quite frankly, guys, he's kind of a dick in this book. He really is an unlikable, violent, vicious animal that doesn't have a conscience, doesn't care what he's doing, doesn't care who he actually hurts, and he is just, I don't know, he's just a complete contrast between our main character and himself. So it's really unusual that he seems to be the main focus in all the Vampire Chronicles books. But I am excited to read the second book, which, as I might have said, is called the Vampire Lestat. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I know that Lestat's in a musical band in that book, but that's all I really know about the plot. But yeah, I'm excited to get to that one. So that's it, guys. That is my video. Sorry if it's been a bit long. Thank you so much for sticking around with me to the bitter end. Let me know what you think about all the stuff that I got for Christmas. Let me know also, once again, if you read Ghost Story or Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Let me know your opinions on it. And let me know if you've read any of the books that I have either read, DNF'd, or are currently reading for this month. Let me know your opinions on it. Please, no spoilers, especially for interview, as I want to know where that book finishes and how it ends and where it's going and all that stuff. Let me know also what books by Anne Rice you've read as well. I was thinking about doing a collection video or my haul video or my mini collection video on Anne Rice books. So let me know down below if that would be something that you would be interested in watching, and I will be more than happy to do that. So I will have a link down below in the description to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads and message me and see what I'm reading. So yeah, with all that out of the way, have a Merry Christmas, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.